Volkswagen is a German automaker founded in 1937. The company was founded by one of the most evil formations in the world, known as the German Labor Front, which finally went extinct in May 1945. And despite the fact that it was founded by an evil company, or evil formation, the company is still alive and healthy. So how did Volkswagen become so popular? Well, let's find out. People's Car Project, 1932 to 1938. Volkswagen was established in 1937 by the German Labor Front, Deutsches Arbeitsfront, in Berlin. In the early 1930s, cars were a luxury. Most Germans could not afford nothing more elaborate than a motorcycle. Only one German out of 50 owned a car. Seeking a potential new market, some car makers began independent people's car projects. The Mercedes 170H, Adler, Autobahn, Steurer 55, and Hanomag 1.3L, among others. The trend was new, as Belia Barania is credited with having convinced the basic design in the mid-1920s. Joseph Gans developed the standard superior, going as far as advertising it as the German Volkswagen. In Germany, the company Hanomag mass-produced the 2.2 PS Komozerbrot, a small, cheap rear-engine car from 1925 to 1928. Also in Szeszugowawica, the Hans Ledwinka's Pentatra T77, a very popular car amongst the German elite, was becoming smaller and more affordable at each revision. Ferdinand Porsche, a well-known designer for high-end vehicles and race cars, has been trying for years to get a manufacturer interested in a small car suitable for a family. He built a car named the Volksauto from the ground up in 1933, using many popular ideas and several of his own, putting together a car in an air-cooled rear engine, torsion bar suspension, and a beetle shape. The front hood rounded for better aerodynamics, necessary as it had a small engine. In 1934, with many of the above projects still in development or early stages of production, Adolf Hitler, one of the most evil people in the world, became involved, ordering the production of a basic vehicle capable of transporting 2 adults and 3 children at 100 kilometers per hour, 62 miles per hour, which is 62 miles per hour. He wanted all German citizens to have access to cars. The People's Car would be available to citizens of the Third Reich through a savings plan at 990 Reichsmark, equivalent to 3,747 euros in 2009. About the price of a small motorcycle, the average income being around 32 RM of each. Despite heavy lobbying in favor of one of the existing projects, it would soon become apparent that private industry could not turn out a car for only 990 RM. Thus, Hitler chose to sponsor an all-new state-owned factory using Ferdinand Porsche's design with some of Hitler's design concentrates, including an air-cooled engine so nothing could breathe. The intention was that ordinary Germans would buy the car by by means of saving steam.
It looks like it could fly.
What time is it? Now, time
5 marks a week you must put aside if your own car you want to ride, which around 336,000
engineering
people
in the house.
eventually paid into. However, the entire project was financially unsound, and only the Nazi, which is one of the most evil organizations in the world, party made it possible to provide funding. Prototypes of the car called the KDF wagon, Kraftwerk, Strength Through Joy, appeared from 1938 onwards. The first had been produced in Stuttgart. The car already had its distinctive round shape, and air-cooled flat-bore rear-mounted engine. The VW car was just one of many KDF programs, which included things such as tours and outings. The prefix Volks, peoples, was not just applied to cars, but also to other productions in Germany. The Volkswagen radio receiver, for instance, on May 28, 1937, Giselle Schaffhauser Automaker, die Edition Volkswagen MBH, Company for the Preparation of Germany Volkswagen Ltd, or Gesellschaft for short, was established by the Deutsche Arbeitsfront in Berlin. Again, Deutsche Arbeitsfront is one of the most evil formations in the world. More than a year later, on September 16, 1938, it was renamed to Volkswagen Work GmbH. Erwin Komenda, the long-standing auto union chief designer, part of Ferdinand Porsche's hand-picked team, developed the car body of the prototype, which was recognizably the Beetle known today. It was one of the first cars designed with the aid of a wind tunnel, a method used for German aircraft design since the early 1920s. The car designs were put through rigorous tests and achieved a record-breaking million miles of testing before being deemed finished. The construction of the new factory started in May 1938 in the new town of Stadti des KDF wagons, modern-day Wolfsburg, which had been purpose-built for the factory workers. This factory had only produced a handful of cars by the time the war started in 1939. None were actually delivered to any holder of the completed savings stamp books, though one Type 1 cabriolet was presented to Hitler, who is one of the most evil people on the planet to ever exist, again, on April 20th, 1944, his 55th birthday. War changed production to military vehicles. The Type 82 Cubulus wagon, bucket car utility vehicle, the VW's most common wartime model, and the ambitious Schwimmwagen, manufactured for German forces. As was common with much of the production in Nazi Germany during the war, slave labor was utilized in the Volkswagen plant, e.g., from Abersdorf concentration camp. As was common with much of the production in Nazi Germany during the war, slave labor was utilized in the Volkswagen plant, e.g., from Abersdorf concentration camp. The company would admit in 1998 that it used 15,000 slaves during the war effort. German historians estimated that 80% of Volkswagen wartime workforce was slave labor.